Snark Squad. Babes,
Ooh, we are so ready.
it is Wednesday evening, and you know what that means.
The wine is, like, fully flowing.
Flowing. And babes, we are here.
We are giving, faux summer vibes today. Sun-filled sass.
Yes, even though, like, it is that weird in-between season.
Ugh, post-winter, pre-summer.
Gray.
Confusing.
You look out the window, and you genuinely cannot tell if you need, like, a heavy pea coat or a linen blend.
Right, but babes, we are manifesting sunshine.
We are manifesting it. We don't care if it's 65 degrees.
At all.
We might be shivering in our apartments right now, but we are here.
Fully bundled up in a trench coat, holding a chilled glass of Pinot Grigio.
Literally, just pretending the overcast sky is, I don't know, a very chic, diffused Los Angeles lighting situation.
You have to create the reality you want to live in, girl.
Period. We are actively rejecting the gloom.
Oh, ways.
But before we even get into the absolute chaos that we need to unpack tonight, we need to talk about something.
Oh, boy.
Something very serious.
I knew this was coming.
I am dead serious right now. Plug-in air fresheners.
Yep, there it is.
I recently learned...
Well, wait, I was the one who told you.
Right, you recently learned, and then you told me, that apparently they can leave residue on your walls.
Yeah, like a literal film.
Babes, is that true?
I mean, I read it online, so...
Because if it is, we are spiraling. I am completely spiraling right now.
I can tell.
I need you, sitting at home listening to this, to look at your walls right now. Is this real?
It is, actually.
Should we be concerned? Like, what does that even mean, residue?
Well, think about it.
Are my walls actively sweating toxic cinnamon apple wax as we speak?
I mean, yes. Think about it logistically.
Okay.
You are taking synthetic oil, right?
Right.
Plugging it directly into an electrical socket
Right.
and heating it until it vaporizes into the air.
Oh my God.
Where does the vapor go? It doesn't just evaporate into some, like, magical fragrance dimension.
Just Bob, you're making it worse.
It settles. It has mass. It lands on the drywall. It coats the baseboards. It permeates your soul. You are essentially basting your living room in, like, autumn walk.
Because if that's true, do we have to mop our walls?
You might have to.
Absolutely not. I draw the line.
I mean, you could.
I am not a wall mopper. I am a glamorous, wine-drinking manifestation queen. I do not mop vertical surfaces.
Okay. You could just, like, hire a cleaner.
Can we hire a cleaner?
Like a professional deep cleaning service to come in and degrease the drywall.
Because, babes, we refuse. I refuse to be the person who has to stand there and explain to a licensed professional that my apartment is structurally compromised because I needed it to smell like a Hawaiian breeze.
It's not that deep.
I need to Google this immediately. I'm pulling out my phone.
Put the phone down.
No, I need to know.
Everything is dangerous. Who cares?
Who cares? My security deposit cares.
Literally everything is out to get us. The air outside is toxic. The tap water is questionable. The reality TV we consume is definitely rotting our brain cells.
Okay, valid point.
Why draw the line at a little wall grease that smells like vanilla bean? Just let the house smell good and accept the structural damage.
You are so aggressively calm about this.
We are all decaying anyway. Might as well smell like lavender while we do it.
Wow. Okay. Meanwhile, my anxiety is doing Olympic-level backflips.
Just breathe in the toxins. It's fine.
You know what? I am going to push back on my own panic. You're right.
Thank you.
I am putting the phone down. Ignorance is bliss.
Exactly.
My apartment smells like an island oasis, and if it costs me my security deposit in 3 years, that is a problem for future me.
That's the spirit.
Drink check. Wine, obviously.
Always. I am swirling my glass right now.
Aggressively aerating it.
Oh, yeah. Observing the legs dripping down the crystal.
Hey, are we, like, wine connoisseurs now?
I think we are.
Can we pretend to be? Just to attract a rich man?
I absolutely think we can, and frankly, I think we should start immediately.
Because I feel like this is an untapped market for us.
It is the ultimate grift. You don't actually need to know anything about viticulture.
Literally nothing.
You just need to learn, like, 3 highly specific, slightly pretentious buzzwords.
Okay, give me one.
And deliver them with absolute, unearned confidence while looking down your nose at a sommelier.
Like, oh, this has a lovely oaky finish. It's very, terroir.
Yes.
Is terroir a word? I feel like I've heard that on a yacht on Bravo.
It is a word, and you use it almost correctly, which is all that matters.
Perfect.
You say, I'm getting notes of damp forest floor and perhaps a hint of, like, arrogant plum.
Arrogant plum.
Babes, men in finance love that. They eat it up.
Oh, I am using that.
You just hold the stem of the glass, right?
Yeah.
Never the bowl. We are not animals. We do not heat the wine with our palms.
Obviously not.
You swirl it until it creates a miniature vortex. Take a sip. Close your eyes like you're having a spiritual experience and say, it's bold, but it lacks structure.
I am screaming. Bold but lacks structure.
They will literally hand you their Amex.
Arrogant plum is my new aesthetic. I would take it so far. I would demand to see the bottle, inspect the cork with a tiny flashlight, maybe even send it back just to establish dominance in the dining room.
Oh, you have to send the first one back. It's a power move.
Excuse me, this tastes like it was stored at 62 degrees and I clearly requested 58 degrees.
Yes. We would be unstoppable.
Until the guy actually asks us what grape varietal we prefer and my brain short circuits and I just scream white.
Just panic in yellow color.
Exactly.
And that is exactly when you pivot to complaining about the lighting in the restaurant before they can ask any follow-up questions.
Oh, smart. Is it just me or is the ambiance entirely too cool-toned in here?
See? It's PR 101. Deflect, distract, and maintain the illusion of superiority.
A masterclass. We are writing the manual on modern grifting tonight.
Truly.
Okay, speaking of things we are consuming while we plot our ascent to high society. Food check.
Oh, yes.
Five Guys. Burgers. Babes.
Amazing.
So good.
The grease is literally seeping through the brown paper bag as we speak.
It is rendering the bag entirely transparent.
And it is the most beautiful, comforting sight I've ever seen.
There is nothing more elite in the fast food hierarchy.
Honestly, facts.
The structural integrity of the burger is unmatched, and the toppings.
Dibbly.
You can get grilled onions, freshly sautéed mushrooms, jalapenos.
It is a customized, messy masterpiece every single time.
It really is. And the fries.
Oh, we have to talk about the fries.
Yeah.
Specifically the fries at the bottom of the bag.
The bag fries.
The bag fries. We need to analyze the psychology of the bag fry.
Please do.
That is the currency of true intimacy. If you share your bag fries with someone, you are bonded for life.
It is the ultimate surprise bonus.
It really is.
Like you think you are done, you have just consumed a burger the size of your own head.
Right.
You are contemplating all your life choices, and then you look down into the greasy abyss of the paper bag.
And there they are.
Yes, a whole extra serving of Cajun-dusted fries just waiting for you, insulated in their own foil and grease. It is pure bliss.
It is a greasy, delicious, chaotic mess.
So chaotic.
But as much as we love the mess of a Five Guys bag,
Yeah.
it is absolutely child's play compared to the catastrophic, life-ruining, viral nightmare that we just witnessed on our screens this week.
Oh my God. Babes. Babes.
We need to talk about Imperfect Women. Season 1, Episode 3.
I am still vibrating from this recap we are about to do. We have to get into it immediately.
Let's do it.
Because this episode, literally titled Monster, was exactly that.
A monstrous, messy 12 out of 10 drama spiral.
I was legitimately yelling at my television screen.
My neighbors definitely think I'm insane.
The absolute audacity of these characters. I need you, listening right now, to channel all of your judgmental energy.
All of it.
Because we are about to tear these people apart.
It is a masterclass in how to systematically dismantle your own life, your career, and your moral compass in under 48 hours.
Yes.
Let's trace this chronologically, because if we don't lay out the timeline, the sheer volume of bad decisions will make us lose our minds.
Okay, where do we start?
We have to start with the letter, the lie, and the absolutely criminal wardrobe malfunctions.
Yes. Okay, so we pick up right where we left off last week.
Right.
Eleanor is at the Ojai house with Robert.
Nancy's husband.
Dead Nancy's husband.
Just to be clear.
Thank you. And Eleanor has found a secret letter stashed in Nancy's belongings.
And it's not just a casual note.
No, it's an apology letter written by Robert to Nancy, acknowledging that he absolutely knew about her affair with this mysterious guy named David.
Right. Which, we have to point out, completely contradicts the entire narrative Robert has been feeding the police.
Literally everything he said.
He has been playing the oblivious, heartbroken, blindsided husband who thought his marriage was perfect since the night Nancy was murdered.
And this letter is hard physical evidence of motive.
It's the smoking gun.
Exactly. So Eleanor, holding the actual evidence, confronts him.
And Robert admits it.
He just admits it. He admits that when he finally found out about the affair.
When he found the secret messages.
Right. When he discovered her secret messages to David, he completely lost it. He tells Eleanor he had a quote, extreme reaction.
Extreme.
He screamed at her, he broke things all over the house, he threw a violent house-trashing rage,
Denying.
but he looks Eleanor dead in the eyes and swears that he never physically hurt Nancy.
And what does Eleanor do?
She buys it. Hook, line, and sinker.
She internalizes his excuse immediately.
Girl, stand up.
Right.
Where's your survival instinct? I was pacing my living room.
It's gone.
How is she buying this? The man is standing right in front of her, admitting to a terrifying, violent outburst.
He smashed their home to pieces.
Over infidelity. And his wife turns up murdered shortly after, and Eleanor's response is basically, oh, you poor broken bird, you must have been so upset.
But look at the psychology of why she buys it.
Make it make sense.
Eleanor's survival instinct hasn't just been turned off. It has been completely overridden by decades of desperate, tragic pining.
Oh, the pining is so embarrassing.
She literally tells him she has been in love with him since she was 18 years old.
Which is wild.
Think about that timeline. This is a woman in her 40s who has essentially been waiting in the wings, holding a torch for her best friend to die so she could finally have her shot with this man.
Ugh, when you put it like that.
The level of delusion is staggering. She is so entirely infatuated with the idea of finally winning Robert that her brain is actively refusing to process massive, flashing neon red flags.
I want to push back on that a little bit, though.
Okay, push back.
Because, yes, she's been pining, but she is also a grown woman.
True.
She is the director of a global nonprofit organization. She negotiates international funding.
I know.
You were telling me this high-powered executive has been holding on to this high school-level fantasy for a man who is essentially a block of ice.
Well, intelligence in the boardroom does not equate to emotional intelligence in the bedroom.
Sadly true.
We see this all the time. Brilliant women compartmentalize. And let's look at what Robert does in this moment, because it is incredibly sinister.
Oh, he is evil.
He knows exactly who he's dealing with. He wrote an incriminating letter. He knows Eleanor just found it, and what does he do?
He plays her.
He plays the vulnerability card.
Yeah?
He says, oh, I felt so helpless because she wanted to go break it off with David alone, and I deeply regret not going with her.
The manipulation, it makes my skin crawl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He isn't seeking forgiveness. He is securing an asset.
Wow.
He needs Eleanor on his side right now, so she doesn't take that physical letter straight to the detective.
To Detective Gantz.
Right, and his strategy to neutralize the threat.
Sleep with her.
Sleep with her.
It is sick. It is so deeply twisted.
And she falls for it.
She hops right into bed with him. Again.
Yeah.
Because, yes, babes, they sleep together again in the Ojai house.
Unbelievable. But while we are talking about things that are sick and twisted, I need to call a timeout.
Okay, what?
We have to take a massive detour right now to address Eleanor's wardrobe in this episode.
Oh my God, please, I was waiting for this.
Because it is distracting me from the actual murder mystery.
It is the real crime of the show.
The fan discourse online is absolutely on fire, and for good reason. Kerry Washington is a stunningly gorgeous woman.
Flawless.
But whoever styled her character for this season needs their shears and sewing machines confiscated immediately.
Immediately to jail.
The outfits are not just bad. They are a crime against the visual medium of television.
The Paisley suit jacket. Are we going to talk about the Paisley suit jacket?
We must talk about the Paisley suit jacket.
Yeah.
And the top with the giant, overwhelming 3D fabric flower attached to the shoulder.
It was as big as her head.
And the pants with the huge structural bows. Like, why?
And let's not forget the random chunky C initial necklace she keeps wearing in every scene.
Yes. What does the C even stand for?
Her name is Eleanor.
Her brother is Donovan.
We don't know anyone with a C.
It is so visually distracting. She is supposed to be this high-powered global influence director, and she is walking around dressed like she is attending a whimsical circus-themed board meeting in 2004.
It takes me entirely out of the drama.
Like, pay attention to the murder.
Exactly. I'm trying to focus on the psychological nuances of a woman covering up a potential homicide for her secret lover, and I'm just staring at this giant fabric flower on her shoulder, wondering if it's going to become sentient and swallow her whole.
The Reddit boards were ripping it apart.
Oh, I read them. Someone said it perfectly. Why are you risking prison time for a mediocre man when you're supposed to be a hot boss, babe?
And more importantly, why are you doing it in those pants?
Those pants were tragic.
It's camp, but not on purpose.
Right.
Which is the worst, most uncomfortable kind of camp. When the wardrobe choices don't align with the emotional reality of the scene, it creates friction for the viewer.
So true.
But as horrific as the fashion choices are, they are absolutely nothing compared to the life choices she makes next.
Oh,
We have to
no.
transition to the poolside disaster.
I need to take a deep breath before we talk about this.
Teach your time.
The secondhand embarrassment I felt during this scene.
I was cringing so hard.
I almost had to pause the TV, get up, and walk a lap around my apartment. I was physically uncomfortable in my own skin.
Let's paint the picture for everyone listening.
Please.
They have hooked up, again. They decide to go frolicking in the pool at the Ojai house.
Which is just wild behavior anyway.
Right. It's supposed to be this intimate, secret, romantic getaway moment. And then walking through the glass doors
I can't even say it.
is Robert's 18-year-old daughter, Cora, and her friend.
Nancy's grieving daughter.
Yes.
Her mother was literally just murdered days ago, and she walks into her family's Ojai house and finds her dead mother's best friend making out with her father completely naked in the pool.
Deeply traumatizing.
Who does this? What kind of person kisses their dead best friend's husband in a pool when the teenage daughter has a key to the house?
The sheer lack of situational awareness is staggering.
Staggering.
But let's look at the psychology of the panic here.
Okay.
Robert is caught. In a moment of pure, unadulterated stupidity, his brain scrambles for an excuse.
A terrible excuse.
He looks at his daughter, who has functioning eyes and a working brain, and says, "Eleanor is just here helping me sort through Nancy's belongings."
I died. My soul left my body.
Yes, Cora, we are just packing your dead mom's cardboard boxes
Yeah.
in the deep end of the pool while unclothed.
It's a new, highly efficient Swedish organizational technique.
Babes, what? How dumb do you think this Gen Z teenager is?
So dumb.
You cannot gaslight an 18-year-old girl in 2026.
You literally can't.
They have been raised on the internet. They're essentially trained FBI analysts. They will ruin your life before they even finish their morning matcha.
And Cora immediately does.
Exactly.
She doesn't scream. She doesn't throw a melodramatic fit like a teenager in a 90s movie.
No.
She does exactly what any self-respecting Gen Z daughter would do today.
She goes straight to TikTok.
Straight to the app.
The retaliation is swift, it is brutal, and it is perfectly executed.
Blah.
Cora posts a vague booking, blind item style TikTok. She doesn't use their full names, but she looks into the camera and says, "Don't you hate it when your dead mom's best friend bleeps your dad?"
The gasp I let out. I had to rewind it.
She did not hold back.
Cora chose absolute violence, and honestly, I respect it.
Fully justified.
If you find your dad naked with Aunt Eleanor 3 days after the funeral, you have every right to weaponize the algorithm against them.
It is the most realistic reaction we have seen from any character on this entire show.
Truly.
But let's look at the PR fallout, because this is where the logistics get incredibly messy for Eleanor.
Oh, the real-world consequences.
The next morning, Eleanor walks into her corporate office.
Which, keep in mind, she is the director of an international nonprofit.
She is literally about to receive the 2026 Global Influence Award at a massive gala.
She has a high-profile interview lined up with Legacy magazine.
And as she walked to her desk, every single person in her office is staring at her.
Because the internet moves fast. Husbands, wives, cheating scandals, dead best friends. It's viral.
It's viral. Her work bestie, Zoe, who is played brilliantly by the fabulous Sherry Salm, by the way,
Love her.
is absolutely panicking. Because this isn't just personal drama. This is a corporate PR nightmare.
That's a total nightmare.
Let's talk about real-world optics here. You do not mix nonprofit directorships, international program partners, and millions of dollars in charitable funding with viral home wrecking.
Board members don't like messy.
They hate it. It threatens the reputation and the financial stability of the entire organization. Eleanor's little Ojai pool fantasy just put her entire life's work in jeopardy.
It is the very definition of the consequences of her own actions catching up to her.
Well, if it isn't the consequences of my own
Yes,
actions.
exactly. And you know what she does when the corporate heat gets too hot?
What?
She doesn't hire a crisis manager. She runs to Mary.
Oh, God.
Which brings us to the Bestie breakup.
The absolute audacity to go to Mary's house in this moment.
I have to say, I am entirely Team Mary in this scene.
Oh, 100%.
Eleanor is overwhelmed, her career's blowing up, the cops are circling, the TikTok is viral, so she goes to Mary's house to confess.
Just dumps it all on her.
She sits Mary down and tells her that she slept with Robert, and Mary is rightfully, absolutely disgusted.
You have to look at it from Mary's perspective. Mary is dealing with her own massive, quiet chaos.
Right.
Her husband, Howard, is supposedly interviewing for jobs in Ohio, which means Mary might have to uproot her entire family and her whole life.
And she is deeply grieving Nancy.
She has her own amateur detective work going on in the background, and then Eleanor drops this nuclear bomb on her dining table.
Unprompted.
And on top of that, Eleanor brings up Robert's secret apology letter.
Yes. This is where Eleanor tries to be manipulative.
How so?
She brings up the letter, almost trying to plant a seed in Mary's head, saying like, look, Robert has secrets too, it's complicated.
Trying to deflect.
And Mary, who actually has a functioning moral compass in this moment, immediately zones in on the evidence.
Good for her.
She says, we have to take this to the cops right now. This is hard evidence. He admitted to a violent rage right before she died.
But Eleanor refuses.
She actively defends him. She looks Mary in the eye and says, no, I don't believe Robert is capable of murder. What we have is real.
Delusional. And Mary hits her with the devastating reality check she so desperately needs.
What does she say?
She tells Eleanor, this relationship isn't real. It's a sick fantasy.
Oof. But then, babes, the tea gets spilled.
Oh, it gets so messy.
Because Eleanor, feeling backed into a corner and defensive, lashes out. And she reminds Mary of a major hypocritical piece of history.
The ultimate low blow.
Eleanor reminds Mary that her own marriage to Howard started as an affair.
Ooh.
The sharp intake of breath I had. So Mary's sitting there on her moral high horse, judging Eleanor for sleeping with a married man, well, a newly widowed man who was married to their best friend.
Right.
But Mary's saddle was stolen. Mary was the other woman once, too.
It's brilliant, messy writing because it exposes the foundational cracks in their dynamic.
Totally.
It shows us that Nancy was the glue holding these two women together. Without Nancy acting as the buffer, Eleanor and Mary actually kind of resent each other.
They really do.
Think about their history. Eleanor secretly envies Mary's stable family life, even though she loudly claims to love her globe-trotting freedom.
Yeah.
And Mary deeply judges Eleanor's messy, unbound lifestyle, while probably harboring some secret jealousy that Eleanor isn't tied down to a husband in Ohio.
The tension has always been simmering.
Always. And this fight is the boiling point. Mary tells Eleanor to get out of her house. The friendship is officially in the gutter.
Good. I am glad. Because Eleanor deserves to be kicked out.
She does.
You cannot seek emotional comfort from the other best friend while actively covering up for the dead best friend's husband. It's unhinged behavior.
Completely unhinged.
So Eleanor is kicked out. She has no one. She's panicking. So where does she go?
Take a wild guess.
She goes crawling right back to Robert, which leads us to Robert Savage 180.
This is where my analytical I told you so moment really shines.
I bet.
Because anyone who has ever studied toxic relationship dynamics saw this coming from a mile away.
Eleanor drives to Robert's house. The police are literally physically swarming the area looking for evidence.
Right.
She goes inside and she proposes a plan. She says, we need to release a joint PR statement to combat the rumors.
A joint PR statement. I need you to imagine drafting that.
Let's hear it.
For immediate release, we regret to inform you that we are actively hooking up over the freshly dug grave of our mutual loved one.
Stop.
Please respect our privacy at this time as we navigate this transition from mourning to moving in together.
I am yelling. What planet is she living on?
It's pure, unfiltered delusion.
But Robert is ice cold.
Freezing.
His sister Kit is there, and Kit is a high-powered lawyer currently handling his legal strategy.
Smart move by him, honestly.
And Robert just cuts Eleanor off completely. He looks at her, dead-eyed, and says, my attorneys are advising me to cut all communication with you.
The fastest, most brutal pump and dump in legal history.
He literally calls their hookups grief therapy.
Ouch.
Grief therapy. I was screaming at my TV.
It's so harsh.
And then, to add ultimate insult to injury, he demands the apology letter back. He says, there is no we.
Let's break down the sheer sociopathy of Robert in this scene,
Hook to it.
because this validates everything we suspected about him. Robert absolutely, mathematically used Eleanor's blind affection against her.
Completely.
He knew he was the prime suspect. He knew Eleanor had physical possession of a letter that could lock him away.
Right.
He slept with her specifically to secure her loyalty, to make sure she didn't run to Gans. And now...
The TikTok is out.
Exactly. The TikTok is out. The affair is public knowledge. Eleanor is no longer a useful secret ally. She is a massive, radioactive legal liability.
So he discards her.
Like a used tissue. Grief therapy. It's ruthless, calculated narcissism.
Yeah. Okay, I agree with the narcissism, but I want to push back on the performance.
Wait.
Because it's so wooden. The fans have been complaining online that Joel Kinnaman plays Robert with absolutely zero warmth. Someone on Reddit said he is a robot in a grieving husband suit.
That's a great line.
And it is so true. He has no emotion. He is completely blank. How could Eleanor pine for this block of ice for decades?
Well,
There's nothing there. Are we supposed to believe he's a master manipulator, or is he just phenomenally boring?
I think that blankness is the manipulation.
Wait, explain that.
Covert narcissists often present as incredibly calm, almost stoic,
Okay.
which forces the highly emotional people around them, like Eleanor, to project their own feelings onto them.
Oh, wow.
Eleanor filled in his blank spaces with her own romantic fantasies. But the reality is, he's a cold, calculating man who only cares about protecting his own image.
That makes so much sense, actually.
And now, Eleanor's fantasy is shattered. She's completely isolated. Mary kicked her out. Robert discarded her.
And the cops are circling.
Which brings us to the alibi and the flashback. The crushing guilt.
This is where the legal jeopardy really kicks into high gear. Detective Gans corners Eleanor outside Robert's house.
Gans knows that Eleanor has been lying.
Because Eleanor's ex-boyfriend, Jordan, the whiny, clingy guy she was sleeping with, blew up her alibi.
Jordan went straight to the police. He told Gans that Eleanor didn't arrive at his place until 1:02 a.m. on the night of the murder.
But the timeline is critical here. The coroner established that Nancy died at midnight.
Exactly. That leaves a whole highly suspicious hour entirely unaccounted for.
Eleanor has no alibi for the exact 60 minutes her best friend was murdered.
She realizes she's in deep, deep trouble. The walls are closing in.
So she finally, for the first time in 3 episodes, does the one smart thing a person in her position should do.
Thank God.
She lawyers up with her brother, Donovan.
Let's take a moment to praise Donovan,
Please.
played by the incredible Leslie Odom Jr., who is giving arguably the best performance on the show right now.
Without a doubt.
Donovan is the only character functioning with the fully developed prefrontal cortex.
He is acting like a real, authentic sibling. He doesn't coddle her. He yells at her.
He threatens to call their mother.
Which, by the way, they keep hyping up the mother in the dialogue like she's going to be a terrifying force of nature.
I can't wait to meet her.
But even while he is furious with her, he steps up, he acts as her lawyer, gets her a serious legal team, and forces her to sit down and tell the actual truth about where she was.
And this is where the real secret finally comes out.
The twist.
The reason Eleanor was lying to the police wasn't because she was out murdering Nancy.
Right.
It was because she was protecting someone else. Her real alibi is that at midnight, she was in a shady parking lot rescuing Mary's teenage son, Marcus, from a dangerous bookie.
Marcus has a severe gambling problem. He owes a ton of money to a violent bookie.
Which is a whole other mess.
Eleanor went out at midnight to bail him out, and she won't tell the cops because Marcus is currently on probation, and if the cops find out he's involved in illegal gambling, he could go straight to jail.
Plus, she wants to protect Mary from the heartache of knowing her son is spiraling again.
Okay, wait.
I need to push back on Eleanor's logic here.
Go ahead.
Let's pause and look at the math, because the math is aggressively not mathing.
It never maths with her.
You are telling me that you are willing to go down as the prime suspect in a homicide investigation.
Yeah.
A murder you did not commit,
Right.
risking a life sentence in prison to protect your recently estranged best friend's gambling-addicted teenage son
When you put it like that,
after you already slept with her other dead best friend's husband.
loyalty is so misplaced.
It's giving me a migraine. You will risk prison to protect the teenage son, but you will gleefully sleep with the grieving widower. Make it make sense.
It doesn't make logical sense, but I think it ties back entirely into Eleanor's crushing subconscious guilt.
Because of the flashback.
Yes, because we finally get the flashback to the night of the murder.
And it is rough.
3 hours before Nancy died, she was in the passenger seat of Eleanor's car.
And Nancy's unraveling.
She begs Eleanor to come with her. Nancy is terrified. She says she is finally going to break things off with David, her secret lover. But she says the situation is complicated, maybe even dangerous, and she desperately needs her best friend by her side for backup.
And what does Eleanor do?
She lets her petty jealousy win.
She is annoyed.
She resents Nancy for cheating on Robert, the man Eleanor is secretly obsessed with. So Eleanor turns to Nancy and calls her pathetic.
She calls her a chicken shit.
And she aggressively forces Nancy out of the car. She abandons her on the side of the road, alone, 3 hours before she is brutally murdered.
That is incredibly heavy.
So heavy.
The guilt she must be carrying is immense. If Eleanor had just put her high school jealousy aside for 1 hour and gone with Nancy, Nancy might still be alive today.
I'm so torn on this dynamic.
Oh, so?
On one hand, the guilt Eleanor feels is palpable. It is eating her alive from the inside out, which explains why she is making such erratic, self-punishing choices. But on the other hand, what kind of best friend leaves you on the side of the road in the middle of the night when you are clearly terrified?
A terrible one.
You don't abandon your friend when they ask for help.
It highlights the absolute toxicity of their friendship dynamic. Eleanor wasn't acting like a best friend in that car. She was acting like a bitter, jealous rival.
Exactly.
And now she has to live with the devastating consequences of that one petty moment for the rest of her life. She is punishing herself by staying silent about Marcus.
It is so dark. It is so emotionally complex.
It really is.
But the episode doesn't even let us sit with that heaviness and breathe, because we immediately smash cut to the final scene.
The sketch and the cliffhanger.
Because while Eleanor is drowning in legal trouble and guilt, Mary has been hyper-focused on her own amateur detective work.
She is meticulously going through Nancy's hidden notebook.
And she finds a terrifying sketch hidden in the pages, a hand-drawn portrait of a man's face.
Now, earlier in the episode, Eleanor had seen this exact sketch and recognized the face. It's a man she briefly saw lurking at the church during Nancy's funeral. Mary connects the dots and suspects it might actually be Nancy's estranged stepfather, Scott.
And the episode ends with Mary furiously, aggressively pounding on Eleanor's front door in the middle of the night.
It was so loud.
Eleanor opens it, looking exhausted, and Mary is standing there, wide-eyed, manic, and she says, "I know who David is."
Boom. Cut to black.
A classic, gasp-worthy, perfectly executed television cliffhanger.
I will give them that.
I was screaming at the TV, I need episode 4 immediately. The pacing of the last 10 minutes of this episode was insane. It just ramped up the tension, layering problem over problem until that frantic knock on the door.
It's undeniably good TV pacing. They know how to hook you.
They got me.
But now that we've broken down the plot logistics, we need to step back.
Okay, let's zoom out.
When you look at this entire cast of characters, you have to ask yourself, who is actually behaving like a recognizable human being on planet Earth right now?
Very few of them.
Because I am judging everyone's grip on reality. Let's do a reality check.
Segment 1. Who feels real and who feels completely fake? Let's start with the real.
We already touched on this, but the most deeply realistic person in this entire narrative is Cora, the 18-year-old daughter.
100%.
Hands down.
Posting a messy, vague booking TikTok to ruin the life of the woman sleeping with your dad right after your mom's murder.
Babes, that is pure, unfiltered, chaotic 18-year-old reality.
That is exactly what would happen in the real world today. Teenagers do not hold solemn press conferences. They weaponize the algorithm to inflict maximum emotional damage.
Exactly. She experienced severe trauma, and her immediate instinctual reaction was to humiliate the adults involved on a global platform. Flawless execution.
Totally. Who else feels grounded in reality to you?
Donovan, Eleanor's brother. He feels incredibly real to me.
I agree completely. He is the only one acting like a real sibling.
Right. When he finds out the massive illegal mess Eleanor has created, he doesn't baby her.
No, he yells at her.
He threatens to tell their mother, which, as anyone with siblings knows, is the ultimate trump card no matter how old you are.
So true.
But when the chips are truly down and she is facing prison, he still lawyers up to protect her. He sits with her on the couch while she cries.
That is a real authentic family dynamic.
Yeah, like, you are an absolute idiot, you ruined your life, but I am going to get you out of this.
He is the anchor this show desperately needs. Because if everyone was as untethered from reality as Eleanor and Mary, the whole plot would just float away into space.
Completely.
Okay, so who feels totally fake?
Robert. Hands down, no contest.
A robot in a grieving husband suit.
He's so fake.
I cannot understand his core motivations. I cannot understand his emotional baseline.
It's all over the place.
Let's review. He finds out his wife's cheating. He violently smashes the house to pieces. But then he immediately pivots to playing the calm, collected, soft-spoken widower.
And then he seduces his dead wife's best friend.
Then he coldly cuts her off with corporate lawyer speak. It's giving sociopath, but it's played so flatly that it just feels like bizarre character writing.
It's a combination of the writing and the performance. He doesn't feel like a flesh and blood human being. He feels like a mechanical plot device explicitly designed to force Eleanor to make bad decisions.
That's a good way to put it.
And speaking of Eleanor, I'm sorry, but she feels completely fake to me too at this point.
Oh, totally. The cognitive dissonance is too loud.
Right.
You want me to believe this boss babe who successfully runs an international nonprofit, who is literally winning global influence awards, reduces her entire life to ashes for a man with the personality of a wet napkin.
It doesn't align with how highly successful women actually operate.
Not at all.
The fan critique online is spot on regarding this. The character motivations are stretching the limits of believability.
Like sneaking into a residential pool with a teenager in the house.
Refusing to give a solid alibi to protect a bookie-indebted kid while you're actively suspected of murder.
The overacting, the dramatic, breathy pining. It feels like a daytime soap opera character got dropped into the middle of a prestige Apple TV thriller.
It's giving Olivia Pope from Scandal, but without any of the actual competence or fixing abilities.
Yes.
It's so frustrating to watch. Which brings me to the drama level of this show right now.
Segment 2, the drama level is off the charts.
If I have to rate the intensity of what we just watched, 12 out of 10.
Easily.
We have viral TikTok takedowns, teenage gambling rings, secret apologies, grief therapy, naked pool hookups, and a frantic midnight door knock cliffhanger.
This isn't just drama, it's an Olympic sport.
And every single character is going for gold in the self-destruction category.
The tension is genuinely suffocating at this point in the season.
It is.
And not necessarily because of the core murder mystery, but because literally everyone is a suspect and everyone is lying about something.
True.
The police don't even need to actively investigate. These women are doing the investigative work by destroying their own lives for free.
Detective Gans literally just has to stand on the sidewalk with a notepad and watch them implode.
They are doing the police's job for them by just being phenomenally messy.
Which leads perfectly into segment 3, relationship breakdown.
Let's do it.
If we look at the relationship dynamics, we need to assess who is thriving versus who is completely failing, because the alliances are shifting incredibly fast.
Failing, Eleanor and Mary, obviously.
That bestie breakup was brutal and permanent. I really think Nancy was the foundational glue of that trio.
She had to be.
Without her, Eleanor and Mary have absolutely nothing in common except mutual resentment.
Eleanor envied Mary's cozy family life, but didn't want the restrictions that came with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And Mary judged Eleanor's freedom, but probably secretly wished she wasn't tied down to a domestic routine. They don't actually like each other.
They merely tolerate each other for the sake of shared history.
Yep.
And now that history is permanently tainted by Robert, which leads to the other massive failure, Eleanor and Robert.
The fastest pump and dump in legal history. He extracted exactly what he wanted. A temporary distraction, a secured asset, some literal grief therapy.
Disgusting.
And the second she became a PR risk to his freedom, he deployed the lawyers. That relationship is not just failing, it is a smoking crater in the ground.
So is anyone actually thriving in this mess?
Thriving, and I use that word very loosely, Mary's investigative skills.
Oh, yes.
Mary's basically a dog with a bone. She's treating her intense grief with full-blown, obsessive amateur detective work.
Think about how many true crime podcasts we consume.
We consume a lot.
Mary is living that reality. She is analyzing sketches. She is connecting faces from funerals to hidden notebooks. She is showing up at doors in the middle of the night making declarations.
She is giving us the narrative momentum we desperately need to figure out who David actually is.
She's surviving, not thriving, but the thrill of taking on the case is clearly the only thing driving her forward.
It gives her a sense of control in a situation where she feels completely powerless.
Exactly. Which brings us to segment 4, the most important part of the night. What chaos is coming next?
I am so ready for this.
I need predictions. Who is the killer? Who is David? I know you have been scouring the internet. I need the Reddit theories. Lay them out for me.
Oh, the internet is spiraling just as much as we are, and the fan theories range from highly plausible to completely unhinged.
Give me the plausible first.
Theory number 1. Corey Stoll is David.
Wait, Corey Stoll, the actor?
Yes.
Okay.
Corey Stoll plays Howard, Mary's husband.
Right.
A background character who is currently, quote-unquote, interviewing for a job in Ohio.
Oh my God.
The Reddit boards are pointing out a fundamental rule of television casting. You do not cast an A-list, heavy-hitting talent like Corey Stoll to play a mousy background husband who is out of town sending text messages for 3 episodes.
It violates the unwritten law of prestige TV.
Exactly. He is entirely too famous to just be the husband. Therefore, he must have a massive secret. He must be David, or he must be the killer.
Babes, I fully, completely buy into the Corey Stoll casting conspiracy.
It makes sense.
That is TV Logic 101. You do not pay Corey Stoll's episodic quote for him to just act via SMS from Ohio. He has to be involved in the murder.
Which leads right into theory number 2.
Okay.
Building directly on that casting logic, Mary's husband killed Nancy because Nancy was sleeping with him.
Whoa.
Howard is David. Nancy was having an affair with her best friend's husband. Howard found out Nancy was going to end it that night. Or maybe Mary found out about the affair, and it led directly to her murder.
That would explain exactly why Eleanor brought up the fact that Mary's marriage started as an affair.
The foreshadowing.
He has a documented history of cheating, and it would be the ultimate devastating betrayal, Nancy sleeping with Mary's husband. That is so dark.
It gets darker.
How?
Sub-theory to the Howard plotline is that Nancy wasn't sleeping with Howard. She was actually sleeping with a teenage son, Marcus.
No, absolutely not. I reject that immediately.
People are saying it.
That is entirely too far.
I'm just reporting the theories, babes. I am the messenger. People think the bookie story that Eleanor is telling is a cover, and Marcus was the one having the illicit affair with Nancy, and it went terribly wrong.
I am covering my ears. I refuse to accept that reality. What is theory 3? Please give me something else.
Theory 3, Mary is the killer.
Mary, the housewife.
Yes. The theory is that Mary was secretly, deeply in love with Nancy.
Oh, wow.
She was obsessed with her. She found out Nancy was having a passionate affair with a man named David, realized Nancy was never going to be with her, and she completely snapped.
This is a wild theory.
She is the mousy housewife in the Target puff-sleeve dresses, playing the amateur detective explicitly to stay one step ahead of the police investigation.
No way.
She is actively controlling the narrative to cover her own tracks.
I am going to push back incredibly hard on this.
You don't buy it.
I do not buy Mary as the killer for 1 second. I think Elizabeth Moss is playing her too genuinely broken by the loss.
That's fair.
When you look at her face in these scenes, she looks physically exhausted. She looks emotionally destroyed. A mastermind killer wouldn't be kicking her only potential alibi out of the house and hyperventilating over pencil sketches.
Sure.
I really think it's the Howard Corey Stoll angle. It has to be the husband.
The casting theory is incredibly strong, I will admit that. But we cannot discount the stepfather, Scott.
Oh, right, the sketch.
The creepy man from the funeral. Mary specifically says she knows who David is based on that sketch. If the sketch is Scott, was Nancy having a secret affair with her own stepfather?
The layers of depravity on this show, I literally cannot handle it. I'm going to need more wine immediately.
Pour it up.
I'm going to need another Five Guys bag fry just to stabilize my blood sugar after thinking about these twisted theories.
It is a massive amount of psychological damage to process in 1 hour. But that is exactly why we are here, to process the trauma and the terrible fashion choices so you don't have to do it alone.
Exactly. Which means it is sadly time to wrap up this Wednesday night spiral session.
Let's center ourselves. Bring it back to the beginning.
Okay.
Faux summer vibes. Wine delusion. Grifting finance men with the phrase arrogant plum.
Air freshener paranoia. Toxic baseboards. Burger bliss.
We have been on a serious journey tonight, so we leave you, the listener, with the most important questions. Are plugins secretly ruining the structural integrity of our walls?
Are we certified wine experts now?
And babes, are you out there manifesting summer too? Because we are trying our absolute hardest.
Before we go, do not forget to rate, review, subscribe.
Please and thank you.
Wherever you are listening right now, drop us those 5 stars.
Send us your submissions. We want that DM energy.
We want it all.
Send us your unhinged TV theories, your bad dates, your own personal fashion critiques of Kerry Washington's tragic paisley suits.
Send this to your most delusional bestie. You know exactly who I'm talking about.
You do.
The one who would absolutely sleep with a block of ice for quote-unquote grief therapy. Tell her to stand up and get her life together. And a massive thank you to the Snark Squad. You guys are the entire reason we do this every single week.
But before we completely sign off, I want to leave you with one final, deeply provocative thought to mull over while you stare at your supposedly toxic living room walls.
Oh, I love these.
Think about this. We have spent this entire time judging Eleanor for her chaotic messiness.
Right.
But if Mary's marriage actually started as an affair, and Nancy was a chronic cheater who was lying to her husband and her friends, Maybe Eleanor is actually the most honest one of the entire trio.
Wait.
She's just really, really bad at hiding her flaws. Are we just mad at Eleanor because she's terrible at the game of deception that the other women have already mastered?
Oh my God. The mind-blown emoji. I'm going to be thinking about that profound realization all night long.
Stay shady,
Stay iconic.
and we'll see you on the Snark side.